Good morning, gardening friends. It's the 24th of December at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and the birds are just singing all over everywhere today. They're celebrating Christmas Eve. We are going to get a storm in an hour or so I thought I would go ahead and do a video. I don't think I've ever heard these birds that noisy in a while. But let's go take a look and see what is blooming on Christmas Eve 2023. We have a angel's trumpet. Oh, we have a visitor. Baby's come again to eat some more. Yes, I see you. Don't get under my feet. Laura petalum, still blooming. Pansies are blooming. I did notice today one of my roses is in full bloom. And I can smell the scent of it from where I am filming, or at least where I'm viewing my camera from. It has a very strong scent. It's Oklahoma. Here my cyclamen are a little dry. I need to water them, but they're doing well. In my Zone 9A garden, they'll be there till probably March. Here you can see my pitcher plant that I cut the large runner from. It still seems to be doing well. My golden chalice vine, it's got a couple of blooms. That's why it's called golden. As it ages, it turns a golden color. When it first blooms, it blooms white. That'll probably open tonight. My bananas, we cleaned the 3 largest bananas out this last week and then cut the dead off of these. They're still growing, as you can see. They're a little more in scale with the house now. I still smell that rose. I was hoping to show you some color on my pear trees because they were a beautiful color yesterday. However, between yesterday and today, it looks like all the leaves just decided to fall off. 'Tis what it is. At least they're colorful on the grass. We did cut the winter rye this week for the first time. It was a nice orangey red color. Bougainvillea is still in bloom. And plumbago. For the 24th of December, that's unusual for the plumbago to still be in flower. Usually it's been knocked back by now. I do like the look of the Spanish moss. It seems to like that side of the palm. I had bought that this year, and it was stretched around all sides of the palm, and it seemed to gravitate slowly towards the front. And I see a fern has taken root up there. I do have animals back here still. I'm still trying to keep the water away. I see they're rutting around in my grass. They seem to like the lawn because they kind of roll around in the lawn at night, kind of near these holes, I guess, watching whatever it is coming out of the ground. Here's my Japanese ground orchids that I left out. Cold weather kind of knocked them back, and they're starting now to come out of the ground. I'll need to bring them in when it starts getting cold, because now's the time they'll bloom with the new shoots. Yandinas have got nice winter color. I prune these quite severely, but I try to leave as many berries as I can, because I do like the look of the red berries right at Christmas time. These have started changing color, my gingers. They seem to be a little whiter, and now I notice they're turning a little on the yellow side. Fatsia has no longer in bloom, but those are the seed pods, I guess. A little cool and breezy now. Here you can see my yellow knockout rose in blooming, or in full bloom, which is nice. I didn't do anything with the kumquats. I bought the topiary forms. I thought I would get around to making some little topiaries with them for Christmas, and just didn't pan out this year. But I've got the styrofoam cones for another time. Here you can see these other bananas are taking on a little winter color. They're starting to get a little speckled. Even as they go into dormancy, they still look pretty, have a little bit of color to them. My Ozark plum has pretty much lost all of its leaves, but it will come back with flowers, hopefully. Unfortunately, this is it's a spent blossom, or an old blossom, but you get the gist of what it looks like. Ignore the brown parts. I'll show it to you again when other ones bloom. But it's white speckled red. La Peppermint is the name of it. And I have had more trouble with this because this is on the same bush, and I just do not like that color. Originally, I had three of them. There's one at that end, and this one. There used to be one where the statue is, and that was why you always hear me say, don't buy camellias that are not in bloom, because that middle one was totally this color. And to me, it just reminds me of bruises. It's not a pretty color pink. Oh, maybe I can get this one out. There is another one within the bush. Still has some brown in it, but it gives you a better idea. So this is basically white, flecked red. You can see the winter color on my forsythia. Those azaleas, autumn carnation, have really put out this year. And it looks like baby's going to be following me around all morning. I'll tell you one thing that's looking pretty good is that holly that I cut back. Now that I cut the dead out of it, it is really sprouting out nicely. It'll be a nice bush next year. I never did wind up using the holly. Again, I planned on using this holly for Christmas. A little bit too late now, but I'll probably wait until spring. Well, really, that's the best time to prune hollies. But that one will be cut as low as that one is, which will make it a lot easier on me to prune. Hollies are pretty to look at, but they get big quickly, and the thorns make them a pain to prune because you're always getting stuck. The good thing about Beaufort hollies is they only have the 3 nasty thorns on each leaf versus some of the others that may have 5. But they're still nasty thorns. Here you can see the cold has hit a little bit, the datura. The flowers appear to be getting smaller, but fruits are still there. I have to pay special attention to the fruits. It's also called prickly apple, because they kind of explosively open and all the seeds drop out. So I kind of want to catch a few seeds. Now this angel's trumpet is really putting out one last show of flowers. Not a lot of scent. They mostly smell, when they open at night is when they really put out the most scent. This is kind of a pretty view of the kumquat tree. That kumquat tree is probably about 25 years old. I do prune it to maintain its size. It got pruned accidentally about 6 or 7 years ago when I had some big oak trees fall back here and broke a big chunk of that off. But it has come back. Yeah, here there's a lot of buds on this La Peppermint camellia, but I don't see any of them opening. This nameless variety of camellia on my archway, I like this because it's kind of the opposite of La Peppermint. This one is red speckled white. And it is coming into flower nicely. You can see the slight variations. One thing I have noticed with this camellia, you see it more from the back side than the front, is some of the leaves have started showing a variegation. I hope that's not the sign of some kind of virus, but you can see maybe up there some of the leaves at the top have some specks of yellow. But yeah, the archway is coming into its own. I still have some marigolds in bloom. It's a little dim here, but here you can kind of see the flowers coming into their own. I did want to take you a quick trip inside. Here is the ground orchids still blooming that I got from Lowe's a second time. And we'll just go in here quickly. I just brought some plants out last week, so I haven't had a chance to clean. And here's some of the plants overflow from the front porch. Of course, this night blooming Cereus cactus is the spot where the Christmas tree is. But what I wanted to show you was this paper white that we planted, about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's going to go in the house, but I'm keeping it till tomorrow because tonight I'm going to have company, and my company kind of objects to the intense fragrance of the paper whites. So I will put them out after they leave, just bring them in to enjoy them. Of course, here is the 3 or 4 year old, I kind of forget now, a poinsettia or poinsettia, however you want to pronounce it. Here are the new flowers for this year. These leaves are left from the old flowers that never fell off from last year. I brought that in my front porch, which is the same exposure as this spot out in my garage, but it seems to like it better out here. Let's see what's happening in the front yard. Oh, there's an autumn carnation blooming here. Planted those last spring because I wanted some color here in the winter. Let's see, there's another autumn carnation on this side, but this one's in a little bit deeper shade, slightly different light exposure. No, that one's not in bloom. This shrub has kind of overwhelmed it. Yeah, these camellias are absolutely loaded. These are a pink camellia, like a watermelon pink. Here's one of the things that the cool has definitely hit, is my air potato. I'll be removing that trellis shortly, but it's still got a little bit of green yet, so I'm not going to actually cut it out until all the green is gone. Well, we can't go around to the front yard because the gate is locked from the outside. So we'll have to do the front yard another day. There are my pansies blooming nicely. But yeah, that's about it for today. I'm having friends over tonight, and I've pretty much got the menu all planned. We're going to have, being Polish in origin, we traditionally never had meat on Christmas Eve night. So what we would do would be to have seafood. And so I made some boiled shrimp yesterday, and tonight we're going to have lobster tail poached in butter. Thank God for Aldi's. Had a good deal on lobster tail. And I have to make a mushroom soup. It's a traditional soup. I use 4 different mushrooms: shiitake, the white button, portobellos, and I also like to use some oyster mushrooms. But again, no meat. It'll just be basically a mushroom soup with beef stock. So everything here is in hand. We don't exchange gifts, so that section of part of Christmas is gone, or at least is already met, so we don't need to worry about that. So I'm going to relax and make my soup. So I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next time. Take care.